It is 7:04, and we need to go ahead and call the meeting to order. So we will call the meeting to order, and we'll start with roll call followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, starting with Ward 1 Commissioner.
Ward 1, Salsick, present.
Ward 2, Henderson, present.
Ward 3 Wheatley, present.
Ward 4, Givens, present.
At-large Brooks, present.
Thank you. We'll now say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Okay, so we have a very long agenda tonight. Do we need to go into a closed session tonight?
Actually, yes, we do.
Okay, because this agenda, I don't remember it being this long, but okay. When we first got it, does everyone remember it?
Can we just table, let's table things if we don't need to.
Yeah. Can you tell us?
Table more.
We tabled the, let me see, your agenda. We tabled the revised Cottage City Employee Handbook, number 14, and we also tabled number 17, the resolution 2025-5, the 2026 Exercise Program Supporting Resolution. Those two are tabled.
Okay.
And as you will know, we are getting the approval on the RFP, which will come out on the 13th of June. We will get all the contracts in, bids. And so, of course, we will have to have a special meeting that week, so we can add some of these items to that agenda. So,
Do you want to table this one? Or you want to still do it?
Let's table and then have John put it on next. I can make it brief. I can make it super brief.
I sent you a report today about the stormwater.
So this vision insight software,
That's simple, that's just a quick,
That's what we talked about.
yeah, at the work session, that was quick. That should be a quick vote.
Let's just make some of them super quick.
That's quick, that's,
Bring it up. Go.
some of them will go pretty fast, it's just, although we already discussed it.
okay. I'll take your word for it. Okay, so
What are we shooting for, 8:30 tonight?
would be nice.
I think, please give me till 9.
I like that goal.
Just give me till 9 and I'll be okay.
Fine.
'Cause I think I can get you out by 9.
8:40.
Just gotta work. Come on.
Shoot for 8:30 and 9 is the open.
9 is the, yeah, give me a little bit of flexibility, we'll go there. I'll talk fast.
All right, so approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? I sent my edits in already. Any questions in regards to the financials? Yeah. Well, I asked, are there any edits, any comments, any questions?
Brooks, nothing for me, thank you.
Okay. Ward 1. Henderson?
Everything.
Okay.
No, Givens, no.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes and financials for April?
I make a motion to approve.
Or is it May? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, for May.
The minutes in May or minutes and financials.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Call for the vote. Ward 1.
Ward 1, Solsick, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. Next is the public safety report. Is the chief on? Okay, chief, you have the floor.
Yes, at this time, we're working with the county with a nuisance house on 40th Place, I'm sorry, not 40th Place, on 37th Place. And next week, we're supposed to be working with Motor Vehicle Administration to address some of the issues we have with vehicles with out-of-state tags and unregistered vehicles. And at this time, that's all I have for, to move forward in this meeting.
What was about the out-of-state tags?
You said they have some vehicles without a safety tags.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes, we will be working with motor vehicles next week in reference to our out-of-state tags. They're coming, with their, enforcement unit to drive around town for unregistered vehicles as well as vehicles that are out-of-state tags.
Okay.
Anything else, chief?
That's all.
Anyone have any questions? We'll start with Ward 1. For the chief,
Ward 1, no questions.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yeah, Ward 2, Henderson, what I was gonna ask was about the out-of-state tags, but I guess you just mentioned it, so I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, how are we looking with the permits for the residents, for the park, not the parking, I'm sorry, for the traffic during rush hour?
John,
I talked to HW Printing, and they should have those early next week, and we'll be able to release them hopefully by Wednesday of next week is the plan.
Okay, is something going to go out to the residents to notify them?
Yes, we will put a notice out on Constant Contact, Facebook, and we'll use all of our channels to make sure that that goes out.
Okay, for those who are not online or don't do social media, how will they be
We will
notified?
also make sure it's in the newsletter, and we'll continue to put it in the newsletter so that everyone's notified.
When is the newsletter going out?
Next edition will go out in July, of course.
So the permits will come in before the newsletter?
Yes, like I said, it's going to be an ongoing process to learn how to reach all the residents in town. So it's going to be, it's a campaign that's basically going to have to be launched, and we're going to continue it until everyone gets notified and comes in and picks up the minutes.
All right. All right, Commissioner Givens.
Yeah, so one of the things in regards to the permits, one of the residents asked, because it is somewhat of an inconvenience for those people who live in the the towers, as well as the people who live on Bunker Hill between the do not enter signs, if that permit could be giving, if they could utilize that permit to give them what do you call it, deference, or to allow them to come down the street and get into their properties or the residents, because it's somewhat of an inconvenience for them to go all the way around the town to come back to go down the one-way street and to get into their property and to get into the towers. So I said I would bring it forth, and the commission could consider it or think about it and get back next month and give their thoughts.
So they're asking if they can come down the one-way street during the do not enter time?
So the reason that was put up years and years ago. And the reason why that was put up is because of the traffic going through the town. That's the only reason it was put up. It wasn't put up for any other reason. It was the...
Okay, that's fine.
No, I just want to explain the process, what happened, as to why it's there. It's because of the out-of-town people coming through, cutting through the town, and so that was to kind of slow that stuff down. As a result, it has, over the years, inconvenienced those who live on that block. And they brought it to my attention and asked me to speak on their behalf in regards to a resolution to that. And I thought, well, perhaps, since we're getting, if it's about, like, people living, if it's to deter the people from out of town and not really want to inconvenience the people in town, then you could, clearly, if they get a permit, then the officers would see that those are the people who live on that block in the town, in the towers, as well as the people who literally live on that, houses that live on that block. So that's what it was. That's what I said that I would, because it would seem like it would be, if you're getting a permit for one, it seems like it's just about identifying the people who live in the town. So it could be considered. So you don't have to think about it and make a decision today. It's something to think about, and then perhaps have a conversation about it for next month and give it some thought. So.
Anything else?
No, nothing for the chief. Nothing else. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, anything for the chief?
No, nothing for me, thank you.
All right, so next is Public Works. Who'll be giving that?
So Jorge Montel is the new Public Works person. He's a skilled laborer. He's able to do a multitude of handyman things, as he's already begun throughout the town. If people noticed him out there, and he does daily reports that he turns into the town manager. So if there's things that you see that need to be done, if you bring it to the town manager's attention, he can get it onto his assignment list. And we'll be going around in the next couple of weeks, after a couple more weeks, and we'll do a total assessment of the town and provide that report to the commission for review. And over a period of time, those things will begin to wane off of that, get taken care of off of that report. And it doesn't negate ongoing things that come up. So I yield back.
Ward 1, any questions?
Ward 1, no questions.
Ward 2, Henderson, no questions.
I do have a question. So moving forward, will you continue to give the report, or will Mr. Jorge?
Well, at some juncture, I will be, once he's totally on board and trained and everything, I'll be backing out of any day-to-day activities, and the town manager will take over that, and I will only be participating likely in like special projects that'll be brought forth in front of the commission, and working with the town manager in doing so. So.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll be glad to give that up. Mr. Jorge, he's been doing a great job. He has. He's been doing a great job. I see him around town, and I know the residents probably see him around town doing a lot. Is it possible he can change this light that keeps going off and on?
Will do.
Thank you.
It's likely unlikely the light itself. It's likely the fixture inside the light, because what happens is they wind up the ballast inside of it starts to go out. But I mean, we'll change it first. That'll be the first step. But it's likely not that. It'll probably be an ongoing a problem that'll continue, and likely at some juncture we'll probably need to swap those out for LED opportunities.
Huh? Oh, okay. Okay. Commissioner Brooks, any questions, comments?
No, I would just say amazing job. Making me a wee bit dizzy, flying back and forth everywhere, but I think I'm just seeing him knock out a lot of projects, and it's really great to see, so thank you.
Yes, he's been very busy. So we'll move on to Ward 1. Anything to report?
Ward 1, no, nothing, no comment.
Ward 2, one was about the chief already answered that one, but the other one is the recycle bins. The the recycle company is breaking the tops off of all the bins. And even my residents around me, most of them don't even have a top on it anymore. Mine's cracked, and practically almost ripped that off. So I'm wondering what we can do as commissioners, either talk to the company to be, somehow be a little bit careful the way they're dumping it. And then we got to think about how to replace them, I guess.
So first, I will have a conversation tomorrow with Jetta Trucking, who does the recycling. And the second thing is, of course, you could dial 311 to report any kind of issues with your recycle bin. The last we've heard, there's a 45-day waiting period right now to get recycle bins replaced or fixed, because what they do is they actually come out, they will assess your recycle bin first, and they will determine whether that recycle bin is needing a repair or actually to be replaced. So that is the process, because we were trying to figure that out for residents as well. So, but like I said, I will have a conversation tomorrow with Tricia over at Jetta Trucking and get some answers as to, please take better care of our recycle bins. So thank you.
And let me follow up
Thank
on that quickly. In regards to regular town trash, we're in the process of getting information in regards to the additional lids so that we can change some of the lids on the regular trash cans that have been broken. And Jorge is, he's aware of how to fix them and stuff like that, so he has no problem once we acquire new lids and stuff like that, and then we'll put out a campaign. If your what's the name's broken, he'll go by and assess the town-owned trash cans, not the recycles. Those are run by a different company. They're not actually owned by the town. They're owned by the county.
Thank you. I yield back.
I don't have anything to report. Commissioner Gibbons.
I don't have anything to report, but I would like for the commission to consider going ahead and approving the purchase of the street sweeper, so that as of July 1st, we can go ahead and place the order and get it in here, because it's still going to take some time for them to get it over here and stuff, and we want to begin that program sooner than later. As we get into later months, it won't be, we'll already be in a proper routine. So even if we were to order it in July, we probably wouldn't begin the program until August. So I'd like the commission tonight at some juncture in the meeting to consider going ahead and, as of July 1st, giving the town manager the release of the funds to make that purchase. I yield back.
Commissioner Brooks.
I had a host of things, but after seeing this agenda, I think I'm going to skip, so I yield back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so next we'll move on to old business. Vision Insight Software.
Okay, so last week at the work session, we talked to you all about the Vision Insight software for the police department. Chief Ayers, do you want to give a little synopsis about it?
Pretty much it's going to replace SilverTrack, and it's at the same price, pretty much the same price as SilverTrack. We're trying to move forward with the new vendor due to the fact that SilverTrack was sold to a larger company that wants to us to pay almost 3 times as much we were paying at first. That's all.
So now we're ready to hear, as you can see presented in front of you, monthly it'll be $236.25. Total for the annual is $2,835. And I just want to take a vote tonight so we can go ahead and move forward if you all agree.
Motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the Vision Insight software for the Cottage City Police Department, a tracking system that will allow the police monitoring various areas of the town to be tracked by the town chief and as well as the town manager, and the amount of $2,835.
Brooks, second.
Thank you. Call for the vote. Ward 1.
Ward 1, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Gibbons, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, of course, is from Peak Technology. We are in the process of course, Barracuda Essentials is projected to increase, and as we all know, according with Commissioner Henderson last week, Barracuda is not one of the best products. So at Peak Technology, our IT company, has provided us with Proofpoint Advanced Email Security, and it'll be a recurring charge of $5.13, $107.73. So what we're doing tonight is taking a vote so that we can move forward to change from Barracuda Essentials to Proofpoint Advanced. Someone make the motion.
How much is it?
So it'll be, let's see, 21 months, let's see, 537 to 513, it'll be $52. Let's see, it's a $52.08 increase, so it'll be $107.73. No, that's for all of it. It's $513 a month.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we go ahead and migrate from Barracuda's Essentials to Proofpoint Advance in the amount of $107.73.
Second?
Henderson, second.
Mr. Henderson, okay. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsik, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. Next up is the community garden, the ARPA fund carryover.
Right. So, as we have been going through the community garden expenses, we were informed that we had some coding errors, and we had some items were supposed to be coded with using ARPA funds, and some were just for the garden. When we went back and spoke to town treasurer, it was determined that there is no ARPA funds, that when we did the obligating of the funds back in December, the community garden ARPA funds were not there. So Todd, do you want to provide more insight?
Before Todd speaks, I want to make this point. Forget December. These decisions were made, 25,000 was made over a year ago, well over a year ago.
April 2023.
Right, so December was when he did the calculation to determine what was still left over after all of the things had been accounted for, right? So, right, and so those funds that are obligated for the garden, that 25,000, I remember, and had already been set aside. So until they've exhausted all of those funds, which I didn't think that they had, but, you know, I'm not.
We have an accounting tonight, just for your information, so.
Oh, okay, all right. So, I mean, that's pretty much, that's pretty much what, I just wanted to make a point of order as to the correction as to what Todd was talking about in regards to how the ARPA funds were initially had a conversation, because we shouldn't have been having a conversation about the ARPA funds for the garden because in December, because it had nothing to do with them. They have already gotten their money, and we weren't looking at giving any additional funds for that. I yield back.
That wasn't part of the new expenditure.
Right.
That was the original, and I did send
Okay.
you all.
Okay. We're going to hear from the treasurer, and then we'll continue the conversation. Mr. Frankenfield?
Yep.
We're waiting to hear from you.
Okay, so the key thing in play right now is obligation per Treasury's guidelines means contract, means in writing, means scope and signed agreement between two parties. We don't have that in hand because the garden didn't come up when we got to our year end. Hey, what are our projects that we're going to finish with the remainder of the ARPA funds? So the issue here is we don't have the paper trail to support our decision to continue that project after 12/31/2024. So I'm not saying the town can't use general funds to alleviate this leftover spending.
Todd, can you please speak up? Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm not saying the town can't use general funds to alleviate this discretion between what was left over in 2023 in the current fiscal year or the fiscal year 26. I'm saying we don't have the paper trail to support that we properly obligated the funds before 12/31/2024. And if we do, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's available and I haven't seen it. But the documentation that I saw didn't reference the garden.
Is that it? That's your explanation?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a question for you. We didn't have a contract for the family relief program or the gas cards, but we still continued those programs. So how was that possible that we could continue those funds, and we even borrowed from the business relief to continue the family relief, and we had no contracts in place?
So for those, if you remember that MOU that you and the TA signed, that was us obligating the funds. That was us creating the paper trail. So we missed that step for the garden. Had we known about it, of course, we would have included it in that MOU, but it's not included in the MOU, so we don't have the paper trail.
Okay, I'm not gonna point fingers. Mr. Givens?
All right, so, and I don't want to keep harping on this, and this is for the new town manager as well. I've been a huge advocate of resolutions. We had a resolution for the garden. I remember, no offense, but I voted against it. You know what I'm saying? That amount. Not necessarily against the funding, but that amount. But nevertheless, hey, if that's what they were given, then we should give it to them. However, what I'm trying to say is, when we do these things, and Mr. Best has gone through this with the commissions after it's turned over and turned over, he's created a form. If we do create a resolution binder, then there's not a secret. There's no conversation. There's no ambiguity here. There's no like, oh, I got to go back and find the minutes. You can go to the binder and see the resolution. I remember this was specifically done. So, I'm not here to point fingers because it was done under Mrs. Richardson, Carol Richardson, and perhaps it got lost in the sauce, so a lot was going on. But in moving forward, these things need to be, when we vote on things like this, it's as simple as a form. We voted tonight on that contract. It was unanimous. At the end of the meeting, the chair signs it along with the town manager. It gets put in the binder. And you keep it online too, but you have a historical record. So I continue to advocate that we need to continue to move that forward, and we won't have this problem in the future. But yes, we do need to fund whatever the remaining balance is.
Yeah, so you brought up a very good point, because when we were going through, trying to figure out how to allocate or obligate the money to different programs, we even reached out to the community and said, hey, we have extra money. If you need a service or a program or bring a project to us, we can use ARPA funds if it falls in the guidelines. And that's how the garden came back and said, hey, we could use $25,000 to do various projects in the garden. I think Commissioner Brooks, myself, and Commissioner Givens were still on the council during that time. And we did do some kind of document saying, because we had to say how much each one was going to receive, right? So if it wasn't a resolution, it was something we wrote down. I remember it. Do you remember us writing we had to do, I know it was an Excel spreadsheet that Carol and the town treasurer were working on together. And it showed all the different obligations that we had come up with so far. And then we voted on it, and I could have sworn we put it in the resolution. So where's the resolution?
And Commissioner Wheatley, to clarify there, that's not enough documentation.
Okay.
So if we budgeted for it, it's not enough documentation. We need a paper contract similar to the MOU that we did at the end of calendar year 24. And that's per Treasury's guidelines.
Commissioner Brooks, you want to say something?
How much is the garden still supposed to get?
We can give you an account if we're allowed this morning.
If nobody else has any
Well,
questions.
here, I have a quick suggestion. Based off that, we did do one for baits to cut some of our spending for the bait spending. I say we use some of our general funds to cover that. We've already done the savings from the baits. Just make it, we know it was a mess up somewhere along the line. Let's just fix it real quick and get this thing over with.
So we need the numbers.
So you want to give us the accounting quick? Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to know the numbers here, please.
Can I just say that we're not a separate entity from the town. Like, I don't know who you would do a contract with. Like, who would sign the contract? We are a part of the town. The community garden is part of the town. I don't know if this is like a legal issue or a treasury issue or whatever, but anyways, I'm just going to put that out there. No one's going to sign a contract from the garden. Because we are not a 501c3 or anything. We are part of the garden. We are a program of the town. Okay, so what I have, my accounting, and this is based off of the numbers that I got from the town in March, which ended in May of 2024. And then I've added on whatever expenditures we've made since then. I have a total of $13,552.39 for ARPA that we've expended for ARPA within that 25,000 range. And we knew we were going to come under because there were a lot of changes that we made, right, based on the projects. So we had a lot of volunteer, thanks to Commissioner Givens and Commissioner Brooks. For the town budget, I have $1,395.42. Yeah. Expended. Out of the 3,500. But I know that the town's reports reflect that we're way over budget. That's because they were charging everything to the general account and not the ARPA account.
So it says 5,000 on the report we keep getting, but on the operating as of this, not last month, when it really should be $1,395. That difference is all money that we thought we had to spend before the end of this period of time, we were told in the meeting. So we bought some more beds, so we have those to install in the fall. Because we were told by the commissioners that we had till this next June
of 20, yeah. June
and there was
30.
no more money. That was it. So it was April 2023 through June
2026.
2025 that we
Or
had to
5, yeah.
expend everything. So we think we spent $13,552. There's a couple requests from the bee people, but I think everything else we've bought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
Then the ARPA thing doesn't end until December of 2025, so that's still open. That has nothing to do with what you're talking about. The June 31st.
I thought they wanted us to spend this down.
No. You have to spend your budget. Your $3,500 annual budget ends on June 31st.
Yes.
Okay, and then. So if you haven't used whatever you haven't used, it goes back into the general fund, and then whatever has been budgeted for the new year will begin as of July 1st to begin. See what I'm saying? So your ARPA won't end until December, and now after December of 2025, is that right? 2025, Wanda?
Todd, is it 25 or 26?
So to clarify, there is no ARPA money for the garden.
We understand that.
Okay.
We understand that, but we're just trying to get the deadline date for to spend that money.
So technically, it's general fund money now, right? So they can carry it over. Well, let's say it like this. If we put it in 26's budget, they have 26 to spend it. If we put it in 25's budget, it ends June 30th. So we got to determine what year we're going to add it to.
Okay, I'm gonna make a suggestion. Even though we know the ARPA funds has ended, we're gonna allow them to spend the money up until whenever the ARPA was supposed to end. So we're not gonna go with this fiscal year 25 and 26.
No, I get his point, though. If we
I get
take
his
it out of
point.
next year, we should just say FY '26, let them spend until June. It's already in that budget year.
Yeah, but suppose they don't spend it by then.
Well, then it goes back to the general funds, just
But
like
if you just go
everything else.
ahead and just say, give them until the end of 2026, then they have plenty of time.
They didn't make the mistake. They
Yeah,
didn't
it's
make the
not their
mistake.
fault.
It's not their
I
fault.
get that. I'm saying what he's saying. If we just take it out of FY '26, are you guys really going to spend it in, what, 2 weeks? So probably not. So take it out.
To make any
Exactly. So let's fix it now, put it out of FY '26 budget. But instead of saying, hey, you only have till December, they could really spend it till next May. Let's just give them till next May.
We're not saying December of this year, we're saying December of 2026. This is 25.
Yeah, you got me on that one. Never mind. Don't wait that long then. Go. So really you have till.
You know
June.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. We'll take it out of next year.
But if you could just provide that information that you guys have read tonight to the town manager so he can go with
Yeah,
it.
I just sent an email this evening at about 6:15 that says all this, and John I just gave a copy, and I gave a copy to Wanda, just saying the amounts. Okay, so then, are you saying that then we have, if it's 13,000 minus 25, we've got about $11,000. We have till December of 2026 to spend another $11,000 in the garden?
Yes.
Okay, then we need an understanding and a memorandum of agreement that when we allocate this through the budget, that it doesn't go into operating, because our poor treasurer, we're both volunteers, our poor treasurer has spent so many hours on this, and me too. I'm almost willing to say, I don't need more money, because it's been such a problem. And also getting all these different pieces of information, we don't know what to do.
Right.
So please just tell us what to do, and then when we do it, don't mess up the expenditures and the financial reports, because we don't have time as volunteers to do this, and we've already, gonna turn in our resignation because we're at it now.
So,
So-
from my calculations, for the ARPA, you have $11,447.61 remaining from ARPA. Even though we know ARPA is done as far as the funds, we're going to continue to fund that to that amount
Okay.
out of general funds, okay? All the way to December of 2026.
Okay.
For your general budget, which is $3,500, right? You spent $1,395.42. So that leaves you $2,104.58 to be spent this current fiscal year.
Right.
So that you have to spend by the end of June 30th. And then when the new budget comes, which starts on July 1, you'll get your regular 3,500 that will go until the end of the next fiscal year. Keep in mind, you still have this 11,000 sitting over here. So I think to make sure that that money doesn't get touched again, that we need to identify it in the budget so whenever they spend money on that budget line item, even though it's coming from general fund, it'll be called, their ARPA spending, so that not to mix the money. Give it a number on its own.
It has a number, and we've been using
that number. They
But
just
apparently, I guess that doesn't.
count.
Well, I think for accounting purposes, we'll straighten that part out.
I'll work
but-
with the town treasurer to fix it.
Yeah,
not to worry.
I don't want them to have to come back again and say what happened to our money.
Right, and.
Yeah, we're gonna have to vote on
And just
it.
this week, a couple things did come up. We know that we've got some fencing issues, so we are gonna, when we re-fence, we decided to only do half the fencing, and it appears that the entire fence is gonna have to be replaced because of the deterioration of the groundhog fencing and varmints. So, that's probably how we're allocated. We went with long fence on the last contract, so.
I'll talk to you about some opportunities you could
Great,
have,
okay.
okay?
Okay,
All right,
Demetrius.
we'll talk about it. Thank you.
Okay, and if there's anything we can do to help make this a little more smoother as far as the accounting and making sure the numbers match, let us know, because I know that's been an issue.
That was Diana Gillespie, who's our volunteer treasurer for the community garden, and Denise Hamler, who's one of the co-leaders of the garden.
Could you repeat your names, please?
He's messing with you. All right, so, does, you want to make a vote on that?
Yeah.
Or
Go ahead.
whoever wants.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. So I say, I make a motion, we allocate $11,447.61 out of the FY '26 budget towards the community garden, to replace the money that was lost out of the ARPA funds.
Second. Is there a second?
Givens, I second.
Okay, call for,
And
It-
please
well-
talk into the mics.
yeah, and I didn't hear from you two. Did you want to have any discussion about this, or are you okay? Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote. Ward 1.
Word 1, Salsic, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, Ward 3, aye.
Givens, Ward 4, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes. All right, so, you work with Todd to get that into the budget, because
Will do.
weren't we supposed to vote on the budget tonight?
We are, that's the next item.
Okay, so can you make sure it's in there before we vote?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
do we?
so we would prefer to adopt the budget as is and then add the amendment that was just voted on.
That's right.
Okay.
Do it as an
Well,
amendment.
that's fine, however you want to do it.
That's correct. All right, the next item on the agenda is our budget. We're going to adopt it tonight. Ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the Cottage City Commission to adopt a budget and levy property taxes for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. In the packet, you'll see we have the ordinance that has been prepared, and immediately behind it, of course, is the individual line items. It also lists inside here the taxes as they were presented and discussed. That information, as you know, was voted on at a previous meeting, and those items have already been reported to the state as well as to the county. Because, of course, we did increase the business commercial tax this year. So it's open for discussion and hopefully for a vote.
Any discussion from Ward 1?
You wanna get this, please?
Word 1, no discussion.
Ward 2?
Ward 2, no discussion.
Ward 3, just make sure the gardens money is in that budget when we do the amendment. That's the only comment I have. Ward 4,
No discussion.
at large.
Brooks, at large, no discussion, thank you.
All right. Does anyone want to make a motion to adopt the budget as is? And we'll do the amendment later.
Yeah. I make a motion, we adopt the budget, ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the Cottage City Commission to adopt the budget and levy property taxes for the year, tax year of 2025-2026.
Brooks, second.
All right. I don't think there's going to be any discussion, so we'll start with Ward 1.
Word 1, Salsic, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
There were no nays or abstentions. The motion does pass. We'll move to the next item, please.
Next item on the agenda, of course, is discussion and hopefully a vote tonight on the application for secondary employment for the Cottage City Police Department. As we know, last week, we had a discussion regarding the Cottage City Police Department working secondary employment. I do have, Attorney Best is on the line, and this past weekend, he did provide some information, basically saying that in his opinion and advice, the Cottage City Police Department officers should not be allowed to use his or her assigned take-home police cruiser on secondary employment duty, and the secondary employer should provide workers' compensation if required by law. So that was the recommendation that was made regarding that, and that change can be added to the language within the documents. Also, I know that the general orders would have to also be changed, because of course, right now, they reflect 32 hours of extra duty or secondary employment, but we, of course, would like to take it down to 20 hours, of course, because that would mean that we would get more patrolling on Cottage City streets. So it's open for discussion, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we'll start with Ward 1.
Ward one, I mean, I think I agree with what Attorney Best has said. And I don't have much else to say about it.
Ward 2.
Ward 2, I would agree also with what Attorney Best says, and also with the additional, what John H. said, Holston. I agree with both.
Okay, thank you. I agree with Attorney Best. I also feel that I'm a little concerned about the 20 hours. I thought about it some more. That's like half, because a regular work week is 40 hours, right? So that's, when you add 40 plus 20, that's 60 hours that they can work in 1 week. That's a lot of hours. And I'm just concerned they may be exhausted by the time they come to patrol in the town, or they may have to call out, because, I mean, that's a lot of hours.
I think the 20 hours was what was originally put into the general orders, I know, previous. So I know that it was at 20. It gradually kept increasing in time, so it would be nice to revert it back. I mean, and if it, like I said, it's open to your decision as to how many hours you want to approve. Kevin, would you have any recommendation on what you would suggest?
Yeah, the public policy of the state is you have to allow them to work secondary employment. And the reasonable amount would be 20 hours, Commissioner Wheatley. Sorry. What has happened is exactly what John said. It's crept up from 20 to 30, 35 hours. So it was, 70, 80 hours. So we're going to put it back down so they're not working more than 40 hours, roughly 60 hours combined, secondary and primary employment. So 20 hours is reasonable. And that's where I'd recommend that you place it at. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go with your recommendation. Ward 4,
No comment. I'll concur.
at large.
I'd agree with you, Commissioner Wheatley. I think 20 hours is a lot, but I mean, if Mr. Best is making that recommendation, I will say though, remember not too long ago, literally a month or two, it was brought to the commission to bring in secondary security company to patrol our streets, because we don't have one officer. So we still had a whole bunch of other officers, so that's something to consider in all of this. So. But if 20 hours is what it is, then fine.
You make a very good point. I mean, yeah, you make a good point. So, any other discussions in regard to secondary employment?
Something else I know, even though they may not be using the patrol vehicles for secondary employment, what about gas deductions? Is that something you all want to visit for take-home vehicles? Because right now, there is no gas deduction in place.
Okay, but you're not talking about in regards to the secondary employment. You're just talking about taking their vehicles from work, from Cottage City to their home and back.
Right.
Let me
I
interject.
thought they were already doing that, though. Go ahead, Mr. Best.
What I was going to say, if you're going to nix the assigned vehicles for use while on secondary employment, then you would nix the $35 or $40 reimbursement. In other words, the reason that was, and Commissioner Gibbons can correct me if I'm wrong, the reason the $35 or 40, whatever it was, reimbursement was to reimburse the town for use while the car was being used in secondary employment. So if you're going to nix secondary employment use of vehicles, then you won't need a surcharge. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Mr. Best, but I don't think that's what the $35 was for originally, because it had nothing to do with secondary employment. And I see that Commissioner Givens has his hand raised, so I'll let him address it.
So back when I'll say it's gone far as back as when Anna Angola was on the commission, which was years and years ago, and the gas prices had spiked so high, and and because we were taking the cars, we had one juncture they had taken the cars away from the police department for take-home cars, and so it was reincorporated, but with the name of $25 for a take-home car to help contribute towards the gas. Needless to say, let's be real about it. I get it. It's a benefit or whatever. But the reality is that the damage to these vehicles, as far as the mileage, we have 170,000 miles on a car that's 10 years old, and the town is 1 square mile. And so when you look at that in conjunction to the amount of repairs, the costly repairs, and every time I look up, and trust me, I'm the one who votes against it. I will admit to it. Every time they run up and want a set of police cars, a new generation of police cars, I always vote against it, and the commission just concedes or whatever. But a lot of this is because of the damage. We've been sold on the fact that the take-home car, people are going to take care of the car better, and so on and so forth. But in the iteration, we've continued to spend an exorbitant amount of money on repairs as well as gasoline. I do the bills, and the gas bill at one point, how much was it 1 month? $3,500? $3,500. I mean, it's back down about 16 now a month. But I still say that, and that was years. $25 that was incorporated, and that was per pay period. I think at this juncture, the commission should consider actually increasing that. I mean. And some officers live as far as more than 25 miles, and you're only supposed to take these cars home, according to what we agreed to before, 25 miles from the town's radius. And some people are taking them home further than that, and all of that adds up. At the end of the day, I'm not even just beyond the gas, the wear and tear, the maintenance on them and stuff like that, and the mileage. And so, the town has, and these cars are $50,000 without dressing them up. Just coming off the showroom floor, they're $50,000. By the time you finish outfitting the car, it's closer to 65 to 70 grand. And if you're doing that constantly, I mean, the towns is paying for them. But I just think that at this juncture, you should increase it actually from 25 to perhaps, a little bit more and consideration for the gas. Or I've always advocated, this is one thing I did advocate, I do want to say, and I've been beat up by previous people before, give them an option. You want a take-home car, or give them perhaps, an increase in pay. To me, the reason why it benefits the town, giving them a little bit more money if you don't take the take-home car program, is because we actually save money. The cars last longer. If you leave the car here, we don't have to worry about if they hit little Susie walking across the street. You know what I'm saying? Which creates another lawsuit that would be incumbent upon the town. If you give them $3,000 to $5,000 a year, and Tacoma Park did this program. And they did that program. You had an option. You want, and if you can only take it home, to and from home, if I got a take-home car, if I'm an officer, and I want to go to my girlfriend's house, and she lives in Rockville, well, I can't go to Rockville with my take-home car because I can only take it home. So I got to go home, take my car home, and then go get my car. It's an inconvenience. Give me my money, because I can spend that with my kids. I can't spend that, So I just think it should be increased. I yield back.
Thank you. Okay, so that, because you said a lot, so that we're clear, the stipend for the gas was not in regards to the secondary employment, Mr. Best. It was for the take-home cars, okay? And that was always in place, correct? It's been in place for many years.
Yeah, for many years.
It's been in place for many years. It had nothing to do with the secondary employment. So since Town Manager Holtzen has asked the question, we'll go around. We've heard from Commissioner Givens. So Ward 1, would you like to give your thoughts?
I think I agree with having a small stipend. There seems to be a lot of wear and tear on the cars, and it's a benefit for them to take them home, but I think we should get a little bit back too.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Henderson?
Yes, I agree. Exactly what she said.
Thank you. I agree as well with Commissioner Solsick. I'm gonna get it right. Commissioner Henderson and Commissioner Givens. I do think they should, yes, I'm okay with them taking the car home, but I think if they have to put something towards the gas, it might take a little bit more interest or take a little bit more care of the car, because right now we know that there's one cruiser that the engine blew or something like that. The head gasket, I'm sorry, the head gasket blew. That's a $10,000 fix. So yeah, I think they should have some responsibility when it comes to these cars. I also think that it should be increased from whatever it is now. I think it's $35. 25. Well, I feel like it should be $50 or $75 per pay period. That's, yeah. $25 is nothing in this economy right now. Oh my God, no. I'd say you have to raise it. But those are my thoughts. Commissioner Brooks?
No, but I still have a turn. And so I would say, because I didn't say how much the increase would be. So I would, well, they should have. And so I would say, I would agree that it needs to be increased, but perhaps I could concede to 45, perhaps even 50 if the commission is in agreement with it. But to caveat this whole conversation, what we need to do is, because apparently nobody else has been paying except one officer, you need to give him his money back. Oh,
We
great.
just did that.
Well, see, I didn't know that. See, I'm a commissioner. I didn't even know that. And so.
No, we had stated it in the closed
I think
session
that's-
that he should get
that's
his
fair.
money back.
That's
And
fair.
so as
And
soon
now
as we
the new
stated it,
program-
he took care of it.
Now, and the new program begin whatever it's going to be and be consistent through everyone outside of the chief of police. I don't think the chief of police should have to pay a stipend because they're on call. The chief of police is on call 24/7 to the town. I yield back.
Commissioner Brooks, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd go with the 45 and, yeah. It's per pay period.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I think too, we can look at this again in the future, make a modest step forward, and then we can always look in the future and look back and. Oh, it's probably because I'm tired. No, I think 45's fair. It's per pay period. After that, if we get a year down the road, if gas prices go up, then we can look back. If we're seeing that there's still a lot of wear and tear on vehicles, we can always go back to it and try to, raise that stipend. But I'll go with 45, thank you.
Okay, so we have two commissioners who think it should be $45 per pay period. I think 50, Commissioners Solsich. Did I say that right? Julia.
I think I agree with Commissioner Brooks, starting at 45, and with the caveat that we could go up if we need to.
Okay, Commissioner Henderson.
Commissioner Henderson, 45 would be good, and then that allow us to go up a little bit.
Okay, so the majority has stated 45 per pay period. And are you raising your hand? Okay.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
You say about the overhaul, the engine blow, yeah? Why is it going to cost you $10,000 for it?
That's just yeah, I understand what you're saying. We could talk about that afterwards, but that's a different conversation as far as the gas. We're just talking about the gas type, and we can talk about
because
we could talk about that cost later, though. Yeah, we already did that vote, so I could tell you about it later.
So, yeah, the majority said 45 per pay period. Regardless of secondary employment or not, this is for the take-home program, take-home car program. Anything else you need us to decide?
No, that's all, but do you want to for a vote, I think it'd be a good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, I'm just trying to make sure before
Yeah,
I take
no.
the vote, if there's anything else you need
No, I
us
think
to do.
that covers everything.
That covers everything? Okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve the secondary employment documentation?
So moved as designed.
Is there a second?
Brooks, second.
All right, call for the vote. Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
There were no nays or abstentions. The motion passes.
The next item on the agenda is the Port Towns Joint Resolution to the 2025-01. It's the Form a Community Development Corporation. Just recently, the name of the Community Development Corporation, the name was chosen as the BCCE, the Port Towns Community Development Corporation. And so before you, of course, is the resolution that was brought forth before regarding
Point of order, before you move on, can you state what BCCE is?
Yes, sorry about that. That BCCE are of course, the initials of the port towns, Bladensburg, Colmar Manor, Cottage City, and Edmonston. So, of course, the resolution that you see before you was also presented at a previous work session, and we have now obtained information that would be very helpful to the commission. The total amount of the project to get the CDC off the ground, working with Common Resilience, and Tom Litke, is $60,000. So if you take the $60,000 and you divide it among the port towns, that's where you get that $15,000 ask for each town to chip in seed money of the $15,000. So you had all asked to find out, where they got that figure from. That is where indeed they got the figures from. So what I present to you tonight, of course, is we have to approve the resolution, but also, more importantly, we need to decide, how much Cottage City are they going to put in the $15,000 that all the other towns are doing. I leave it for your discussion.
Ward 1.
I remember when we talked about this before, we had discussed how Cottage City is a smaller town than Bladensburg and Edmondson. Do we have any answer on why they divided it by 4 instead of having it be that the larger towns would take on a little bit more?
That is like I said, that's a good question. I don't know. Like I said, I was just determined that they gave the $60,000 figure and they divided it equally among the port towns. Tom is on the line tonight. Tom, do you know any other detail about that? I think he might have jumped off. Yeah, I think he did jump off. He was on there earlier. So, yeah.
Let me speak to some of that, if you don't mind. In regards to the cost, I agree. I actually don't think that Colmar Manor and Edmondson, we're all the same size, just so you know. We should pay the same amount as Bladensburg. I think Bladensburg should pay more. However, if Colmar Manor, which is the same size as Edmondson is paying, then, how do we back out? We're the same size. Now, what I will say is they actually have more footprint in regards to commercial development opportunities. Our footprint is very, very small as it entails the Eastgate, as well as these houses out here on West End, which are, it's a conversation that's in depth, it's very long to try to come up with what's End. So do we really benefit? We could, but right now, it's going to require some work from a secondary group, as I like what John had mentioned offline earlier that I'm sure he'll talk about tonight. I yield back.
Any other questions? So, just to add on to that discussion, keep in mind the argument could be made if you ask Bladensburg to chip in more money because they are larger. They could come back and say they should receive more benefits from this organization because they're putting in more money. So
I think they will.
well, I'm sure they would ask for more.
Well, yeah.
They would expect more because, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have more businesses. Far more.
Well, it's not just about businesses, though. You know, the CDC does a lot of stuff. It's not just businesses. They also do grants, and they also do, was it beautification? I think they call it.
Facade improvement grant,
yeah.
in which we
Yeah.
only had one person in the last 15 years apply for.
Wow.
Vic's Auto Tire Place.
Oh, that was the business one.
And he's since passed. So, I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, it's just something to think about when you look at the big picture. Anything else? No? Okay. Commissioner Ward 2.
Yeah, I just, one thing I look at the proposal of just one person. I was just wondering, why did we have a choice of just taking one? Why wouldn't it be like two proposals like any other job that we select? You know what I mean? Because, you know, when you really look at, when you're paying out money, and you're paying it to a person or company, you like to see the competition of work. I always believe that. I'm a firm believer in it, and I only see one person here.
I think so the one person is not about the person. That person represents us. So I don't think that's not so much for me or should be the conversation per se, because this one person is just, they're not an entity on their own. They're the ones who are representing us for whoever pays, right? So it benefits us if we're involved. I think my concern would be, how does it benefit the town? How do we get opportunities out of it? But we also have to see what opportunities that we have available. And we have to be, and again, I wanted John to speak to a proposal that at some point he made. And I think it'll make a little bit more sense as to why I might be on board with this as well. I yield back. I don't need to talk anymore.
And thanks, because I mean that was the other question is, yeah, what do we get out of it? You know, I yield back.
Well, I do agree with you in regards to, I do think they should have spoke to more than one consultant. I don't know if they did. Did they speak to more than one consultant? Do you know?
That I do not know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because maybe we could have found someone to do the same thing at a lower cost. Or, I don't know. But, yeah. I don't know how I feel about it right now.
Chair?
Yes, who is that? Mr. Best? Yes, Mr. Best.
Yes. I wanted to comment that they were asking for $15,000 per municipality. That's $60,000. 15 years ago, I was asked to incorporate the Forest Heights, Oxon Hill CDC. It does not cost $60,000 to prepare the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, and the 501c application for an entity like this. So obviously they're seeking seed money in addition to the cost for the legal fees for standing up the corporation. So I'm wondering why they haven't given some sort of budget or some sort of indication of how the balance of the funds they're collecting from the 4 municipalities are going to be spent for a 3 to 6 month period. That seems to be a little odd to me. So I'll yield. Thank you.
Yes, you're right. The 60,000 is also, it does also include startup money or seed money. I believe, Mr. Holton, you received a document from the town administrator from Bladensburg with an outline.
Yes, I have the scope of work, and I did email it to the commission before. I think you all saw that document. Yeah.
Did you share it with Mr. Best?
I don't know. I don't think I have, but I can share that with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
fine.
Best, would you like to see the scope of work?
It's up to you. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
can
I
send it to
think
him.
you
That's fine.
should.
I
Yeah.
will do that.
Yeah. Ward 4, Commissioner Given. Okay. At large.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the 15,000. I really thought it was going to be much less, but as far as what Commissioner Givens is talking about, one of the things I kind of talked to him a little bit about is we as a commission have a lot on our plate. I don't think we... You can't hear me?
Well, it's not about me hearing.
It's probably because I'm tired. I'm just starting to talk less.
It's about how they take notes,
Okay.
how they do minutes.
All right. So one thing I was talking to Commissioner Givens about a little bit is we don't have the capacity on the commission to take on a whole lot more. But we always take on a whole lot more. So one thing I think it would be really good, the community has a lot of input on businesses. And so I think it'd be good to start an advisory group and bring community members in, much like Denise peering around that little pillar right there. You know, she volunteers a lot of time, and so, you know, and a lot of folks do in town. So I think taking all this input that we're getting, you know, start an advisory group of community members who want to see businesses grow here, and they want to see, I mean, we just raised taxes on businesses, but I mean, that's one step of the game. I mean, we need to start developing a plan and start bringing in good businesses and starting to develop an actual plan so that we're looking at, you know, our neighbors who have really good business plans up the Bladensburg route. So I don't know, something to think about, but I do think it's a good start to try to really start to develop some input and let them kind of guide us as the commission on, you know, how we move forward with business development in Cottage City. I yield, thank you.
So the question is, are we gonna, put the 15,000 in the budget? We've already adopted our budget, so we probably would have to do an amendment for that 15,000. And that's the question that we need to decide tonight, because they are on a deadline. Okay, well, I mean, while he's getting the document, how do people feel about the $15,000? Because that's the main question. Yes, no, something in between?
I think it's hard to say if you haven't seen the document, if you don't have a recall. It gives them opportunity to refresh the recall as to whether
Well,
they think it's justifiable
We
or
were
not.
sent the document.
I know, but I'm talking about at this juncture, where we're at right now.
But I still would like people to think about it while we're waiting for Mr. Holton. Because now we have dead space.
So, I remember, was it Tom, this guy that was here before, and he did say that he has a track record of bringing in a lot of grants for towns that he's worked with, and he even said that he worked with a really small town in Carroll County, and he got them like $1 million or something like that, I think. I think that was the number he said. So with that in mind, that I feel like I would be okay with the 15,000 if we're going to be getting a return on investment like that. I also sort of agree with what you said about that if everybody else has already allocated it. I mean, I think that this could be something that could be good for us. So I'm inclined to be okay with it.
Ward 2, any thoughts?
Well, wish it was more time for me to do a lot more research, but at this time, I'd say if we're gonna get a good return back from it, I mean, hopefully it's gonna be worth it, but I still wish I had more time to investigate. I yield back.
Thank you. I guess I'm kind of in the same place. You know, if we're gonna get our return, then it probably would be worth the investment. I think it is a one-time fee, but I'll let Mr. Holson confirm that. We'll just, like you said, if everyone else is giving 15,000 and then we come and say, oh, well, we're only going to give 5,000, then that makes it look like we're not being a team player and we're not trying to partner with everyone. And so, you know, I think we would have to do the 15,000. What is this?
It's the next agenda item. I'll explain it.
Oh, I thought you were going to get the thing for the CDC.
I can get that too. You want me to get the scope work?
That's what they were saying they wanted to see.
Get that too. But
So while he's getting that, let me say this. In regards to the CDC, if you look at the solar panels that are up on the wall in that closet, it cost over $125,000. Okay? The town didn't pay for that. That came under a grant. That, you know, as a part of the actual person who wrote it worked for Bladensburg, but they offered their what's name through the CDC as a package deal through the CDC, because they worked through that organization to be able to get the federal funding for this, right? So how do we benefit? How do we benefit? We got a $125,000 set of panels. Every year we get a monetary off of those solar panels. Okay, we sell energy back. I can't remember how much it is, but we actually get monies back from that. So that said, with the concerns and legitimate concerns that people like Brittany Drakeford brought forth, and Laura, I don't know her last name, brought forth in regards to economic development, well, you know, how can we say we're serious about economic development if we don't play a role in some of those things that could assist us in that? What I would say in regards to and I do want to continue to say that it's important that we try to create to create a committee on behalf of Cottage City to talk about economic development opportunities, so we can get people like who know what needs to be done. Because it's one thing to say economic development, but if you don't know what that's a statement, right? You know, if you don't know how to put it together and to build that framework around it, and I'll tell you this, the commission doesn't know how to do it. And I've been on it 15 years, and we don't know how to do that. You know, I know I don't. And so you need people who are more engaged, and we're doing a lot as it is. So, so I would continue to support that committee, and then perhaps they could bring us ideas and tell us, okay, we need this amount of money so that we can put forth this project, and then we can agree or disagree to that, right? You know, but right now we don't really know how to do that. So I don't want to get into the knickknacks of it, but I think, because I do have another person who talked about economic development that lives in the town, and he's pretty sharp on it, but he does like the fact that if the town would put together a committee for it, he said he would consider being on board with it. So, but we can't put any more up. I'm sorry, but we can't put no more on the commission in regards to that, because you just don't have the institutional background and knowledge of how to put that together. I know I don't. No, you're back.
Thank you. At large.
Yeah, same thing as Julia. I think 15,000. Hopefully, we get a return. Oh, sorry. Is this better? Okay. Hopefully, we get a return from grants, but I do think we're going to have to stay on it once we put this 15,000 and really kind of make sure that we get everything that we can out of it as well. Thank you. I yield back.
Sure.
The only other question that I have is, obviously I don't know the whole story, but it sounded like the last time that we had this something happened with corruption, or there was something happening, like the reason why it got disbanded was because we didn't know where the money was going? Is there ways, do we know that this is protecting in some ways against that happening again, or?
That's a very good question, and we hope it doesn't happen again. So that's why we're starting all over from scratch. And I'm not sure what they put in place, because it's literally starting up from the ground. But that's something that we can make sure we point out, and that we want to make sure it doesn't happen again. So the 4 town managers and administrators of the port towns, they meet monthly. And so, Mr. Holson, if you can make sure that that is brought to their attention, we can bring it up in our next quarterly meeting, which will be held here in Cottage City. We can also bring it up during that time too.
Very much so.
Okay. So, this is the scope of work that was just given to you. Perhaps could you share it on the screen? No?
Elizabeth, could you pull up on screen the scope of work? Thank you.
Or send it to Mr. Best some kind of way.
Already emailed it to Mr. Best.
So, seeing the scope of work, does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Liz.
Commissioner Gibbons? No?
No. I would just say that, you gotta make a decision. Either in or you're out. If you're out, they're gonna kick you out. You're not gonna be, whatever things, they're not gonna include you. And that would also include probably future things that when they do start to continue to build things, that they won't include Cottage City or consider Cottage City, because you won't even participate in something that could benefit you. But you have to put, like Reverend Addison said, you have to put forth your best for what it is that you want out of it too. You can't just sit back and put forth the money and you don't step up and speak up to what your needs are. You got to let them know what your needs are too. So that's our responsibility, and I'll say that we do that through that committee.
Will you entertain a motion? We've spent way too much time on this.
I sure will.
So I make a motion, we move forward with the joint, or the CDC, and the amount of $15,000.
I second. Givens.
Call for the vote. Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsbeck, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
There were no nays or abstention. Motion passes. Could you please let the other port towns know? There's also a letter of
Yep.
support that needs to be signed.
I'm going to bring that up as well.
Okay.
There's also a letter of support that we need to go ahead and approve this evening. It's for DHCD, application for the Port Town projects, the facade improvement program, and branding and wayfinding study. So what this will do is it will work with the 4 port towns to launch a regional facade improvement grant program that will help revitalize our commercial corridors, support local businesses, and contribute to long-term economic vitality of our communities. In addition, it will support a companion application for a branding and wayfinding study to establish cohesive and recognizable identity for the port towns as a vibrant destination and interconnected region. And in the packet is, oh, actually, I provided you all at your desks, there are copies of the letter, and we need to go ahead and get that approved so that Commissioner Chair Wheatley can sign it in support of it, so we can get that over so they can submit the grant application to DHCD. Yes. I sent it to you already. I know, but it's only in your packet tonight. I know, it's in DocuSign correctly. You're doing it in DocuSign. Okay. It puts it in there correctly. Okay. I only printed it that way.
Any discussion? Ward 2?
No discussion.
No discussion from me.
Ward 4, no discussion.
At large, no discussion.
So we need to vote on it. Can someone make a motion?
I make a motion that we support the letter of support for DCHD application for Port Town's town projects.
Brooks, second.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Ward 1, Salsa Guy.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
No nays or abstention. Motion does pass. We will sign this letter through DocuSign.
Thank you very much. Next item, there was an error in the packet. I did put the private property tree estimate in there before you this evening. There is we have several trees in town that do need to be taken care of. One of them, of course, is on the 43rd Avenue alley it's a huge pine tree that needs to have some pruning done to it, clean the debris and fix it up. We've got some trees down along 3702 37th Avenue. There's another tree located at 41st Avenue and Parkwood Street, and another tree at 4001 Parkwood Avenue. American Landscaping came out and have provided us with an estimate. The total work to be done with those trees would be $2,170 and a savings of $1,090. So I bring this for you tonight, so hopefully we can get these trees taken care of in the community. I do know we've spoken to the resident on 43rd Avenue, and this is a huge concern for her because she's very concerned about this pine tree and wants to hopefully have something taken care of with it. She's been trying to prune it as best she can, and it's not her responsibility, it is on the town.
And this is a senior citizen.
Yes, it is.
It's not safe for her to be out there trying to prune our responsibility
Of our trees.
of our trees. Any discussion, starting with Ward 1?
Ward 1, no discussion.
Ward 2, Henderson, no discussion.
Ward 3, no discussion.
Ward 4, no discussion.
At large, no discussion.
Okay, so do you need us to vote on it? Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the listed trees through American Landscaping and to be cut in the amount total of $2,170.
Is there a second?
Henderson, second.
Thank you. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsa Guy.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes. There were no nays or abstentions. Next on the agenda,
Community-led advisory group.
we're going to skip that one because he already talked about it.
Very well. And the last item on our business is the stormwater issues at the end of Bunker Hill. Today, I did reach out to the county to hopefully get an assessment on the issue down at the end of Bunker Hill. And the county came back, and apparently Carol Richardson, the previous town manager, had been working with CPJ on the area down there. So I can read the statement that they provided to us. It says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Holtz, and I spoke with Joanna Smith, the Associate Director with OSDM, and she said the last we met with Carol Richardson, the town of Cottage City had contracted with CPJ Associates about doing an analysis of the pond that is located at the end of Bunker Hill Road. The pond belongs to MNC PPC as opposed to Public Works. The question that we had was, can the pond take additional drainage from the end of Bunker Hill? And if so, we could look at doing some design work to drain the water there. Are you all still working with CPJ? If so, can you put me in contact with me so we can follow up?" And I did send that information to them today. The Prince George's County Clean Water Partnership, CWP, also has the pond marked down for retrofit. If the additional capacity exists, that we would work with CWP to have the incorporated into their design. I don't know what the timeline for CWP is or whether they still plan to undertake this work, but once we have that CPJ analysis, we can meet with CWP. If CWP does not plan to do any work here, then Public Works will contract an engineer to put together a design for this area. If we do that, then we will engage that process this summer and hopefully be able to do some work within the coming fiscal year. And she says, I have not been involved in the issue at the end of Cottage Terrace, and she's going to follow up and find out more information about Cottage Terrace as well.
Okay, when you say public works, you're talking about county.
County, that is
Okay, I
correct.
just want
the
you to make that
county,
clear.
yes.
It's not our public
And this
works.
is from the county
Yeah.
where we got this information.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear for the public.
Okay, very well.
All right, so, everybody, we all got that same email, so I don't think we really need to discuss it.
Well, hold on. No, I do want to discuss it, 'cause this has been, who
You just said
responded
you
to the
didn't
email?
wanna discuss it.
Cheryl, she is the Office of Store and Drain Maintenance with the Prince George's County Department of Public Works.
I'm confused because I, for like a year and a half, have had 311 tickets in with them. Like, these guys are sitting down here and look, it's a mess. It's like mosquito heaven down, like haven down there.
And I
Like,
expressed that to them
somebody's gotta
today.
do something about
I
it.
expressed that to them today. And she said she spoke to Joanna Smith, the Associate Director with OSDM. So I will continue to press them, and I will talk to CPJ and see what we can do.
Yeah, if you will, because
I know.
it's been a hot damn mess down there.
And they've got the picture. Talked about that this morning. We saw, they have the photographs, they know exactly what that area is. So they're fully aware of what the issue is.
And how
So,
many
but-
people have we talked to about this? Like a ton.
Yeah, several. But the issue is also CPJ was supposed to do an analysis. Have they done the analysis?
I have not heard anything, and I was going to follow up with Robin. I did call Robin today to ask about it, and she did not return my phone calls or did not answer.
Okay, so we know that we have money, we're gonna have money left over from the stormwater management
Of course.
project on 43rd Avenue. So
That's
we
correct.
can use that money to pay CPJ to do the analysis,
Mm-hmm.
to get that work done if we have to. Because at
That's
this
correct.
point, I don't know how many times you're gonna keep talking to people and stuff is not happening. If we have the funds, then why shouldn't we just go ahead and take care of it? Because we're not getting anywhere with whoever we've been talking to. We've talked to state, we talked to county, we talked to park and planning. I mean, we've talked to our senators, I even talked to the lieutenant governor, the governor. I mean, who else are you gonna talk to?
It's not your property. It's not your property.
yeah.
You can't spend any money there. It's not your property. All you can do is continue to press forward from a political perspective. You can't go over there and do no work because it's not your property. So continue as we've continued to do. Like you said, press the issue. And if we can't do any work and pay for any work that's done on their property.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying just go over there and do it. I'm saying we get their permission and then we do it. Why can't we get their permission?
Yeah, we can. Parks even doing the
They-
work on the
they-
trees.
They even told us.
Parks gives permits
Yeah.
out for
If they
people to
concede
do
to
work.
that, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any problems with money.
So I agree with your point.
Yeah.
Try to get the workaround and then try to get a permit. Thank you for working on it, John.
Yeah. And even when we talked to the guy from the governor's office, when we did the walk,
All right.
he said if we have our own funds, we could use it, right?
Yeah, it just usually I can't speak on their behalf, but it expedites the process.
Mm-hmm.
You told me yourself. They're not going to care if this work gets
Mm-hmm.
done. Like, they're not going to do it, so might as well allow the municipalities to do it.
Yeah, we
And
get
that's what
approval.
with the tree. I mean, Denise could talk about it. That all those permitted, all the trees we were working on, that was all Parks. Park gave the permits to Seeking.
Yeah, we just get approval.
And we have a good point of contact with Parks who could get us at least connected in some way too, who would take care of it.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to, since you?
No, I just wanted to vent. That's it.
I noticed that. Yeah, because you said, no, we don't say anything. Let's keep on going. So we're at the end of the agenda, so I think we're ready for public comment. Oh, I'm sorry, you have the town manager update.
Just put that on there in case there was something, but I do want to mention, next week is Juneteenth, and we are having a ceremony here at Town Hall. We'd like to encourage all of you to come out and join us. It'll be from 11 to 1 here at Town Hall on June 19th. So we look forward to hopefully hosting you all, and we're going to have light refreshments, and Mr. Wellington is coming again from our Black History Month presentation. So we're very excited about that, so.
Awesome.
Could I say something real quick?
Yeah,
Oh,
but before you do, I want to just ask for volunteers for Cottage City Day. We're still in the process of planning it, and we need volunteers to help us with the plans so we can know what you guys want to us to do for our community day. I know last year was our 100th anniversary. That was a big one, but this is just a regular community day. We won't be doing a parade or anything like that, but we do want to hear from the community. We do want to have your thoughts, your input, so that we can make sure that we're giving you the services and the fund that you want. All right, Commissioner Brooks.
Since it was John's report, I do just want to briefly say thank you to John. I think from all of us, it's been one whole year now that John's been with us, and yeah, 1 year anniversary.
I made it.
Yeah, you sure did, John. No, but want to say thank you on behalf of the commission, residents, and everything. You've done a phenomenal job. And
Thank you.
It's not an easy job, and so just thank you, and we really do appreciate your work.
Thank you. But it's an absolute joy working here. I will say I enjoy coming to work every day and working with the residents, and I think we're starting to see some really good change, and I'm really excited about it. And we're just going to continue on that trajectory. And I think we've got a lot of great ideas going forward. But I think moving forward, I think you're going to see some great things. So we're ready to go.
And in addition to that, we did get you a card that we all signed to just show our appreciation for everything you've done so far. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. I know you don't want to read it now. You can read it later. All right, so
We need to vote on
what?
releasing the money for my street sweeper so I can get my projects going, get the town clean. It's in the budget, but you have to release in order, because it's over his spending amount, you have to authorize the release of the funds, as we've always done, in amounts that exceed their authority to spend. He can't just go out and even though it's in the budget, he's got to still get the authorization to spend it. So I'd make a motion that we go ahead and authorize after July 1st for the town manager to begin to spend and purchase the street sweeper that was budgeted by the town of Cottage City. Yeah. Can I?
Is there a second?
Henderson, second.
Okay, so Mr. Henderson made the second. We'll call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye. We're waiting for you, Commissioner.
Ward 4, Gibbons, aye.
Brooks abstain.
So there were 4 ayes and 1 abstention, no nays. The motion still passes. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So now we'll move on to public comments. If you would like to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes to speak. We would like to hear from you. Thank you.
You got to press the button.
Hi, my name's Tom Campos. I live on Cottage Terrace. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to join any of the meetings regarding the Recreation Community Center. And so unfortunately, I'm out of the loop in that. But I did know that there was questions if there was any support for it. And I can tell you, at least from, my street, my people, the community that my daughter has made me join, just being a parent, absolutely. I don't know how far that goes with you guys, but just something. That was it.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Yes, Miss Katie.
Y'all were gonna buy this house right and turn it into a recreation. Are y'all still planning to do that? Because I know we live in Cottage City, and it's not y'all place to make sure that we have a place to go, but they haven't opened up our community since COVID, and we have nothing to do. And we were really looking forward to it, but when are y'all are you gonna do it or you're not gonna do it?
To second on that, I mean, just when I take my daughter out, and this is a daily thing, you know, we have to go above and beyond looking into other communities to join soccer leagues, to go to the skate park, to go to the library. We don't have any of that locally, at least. It's not, you know, for me being a parent, it's not a bother for me to drive 5-10 minutes down the street, but that's me, that's not the whole community.
You guys have to stand up and talk to them. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you have to come up, stand, talk to the mic.
Actually, I've been waiting for that for 23 years, but I never did. My son is a U.S. military, and when I grow him up myself, single parent, because after I divorce, and I raise my son straight up. And I've been waiting for that for 23 years. Never happened. And now he told me they approve it, but we trying to see if they're going to do it or not. And also about the tree cutting. I like to put my tree cutting. I got 2 trees. I like to be cut it off because I really going to be a hazard or a light matter, because it will, let's say when that tree come down, it will kill somebody. And I know when I bought the house, the tree was there, but I know I don't have that much to spend. I asked my neighbor he can help me up, but I didn't want to get into it because I know he get mad sometime because I speak to him. And I know my tree went down I believe like 1 or 2 weeks ago, and damaged his car. And he had to call the police. Then the police went on to my property because I believe the sheriff or the commissioner or whoever who did to my house, he knocked my door, and he asked me for my policy number out of the house. And I tell him it was natural, and I believe they didn't have to pay nothing with it. But we agreed. I talked to the owner of the car because me and him didn't speak more than 7 years because something happened before.
Okay. Is this on Cottage Terrace?
Yes.
Okay.
I live on 3120.
Okay, so I know we have a tree program where the town helps the residents with the ARPA funds to cut their trees, their private trees. Have you tried applying for that program?
I didn't know no yet. Because let's say nobody tell me, I'm not going to know it.
It was in the newsletter, and we've advertised it on social media and on Constant Contact. I don't know if there are any funds remaining in that program, but you could certainly talk to the town manager.
Sure.
Or, I don't know, I guess Denise Hamler just left, because she's kind of leading that program with the private property trees.
Sure.
So I'm not sure if we're going to do it again. Okay. Because again, that was through ARPA funds.
Okay, this is what happened with the tree in my house. It's getting old, and it's getting big. And it's leaning to one side, my neighbor house. And my neighbor got I believe 5 children. And they there most of the time. And this summer, I know they're going to be at home because they go to church, go to school, and go inside. They stay most of the time inside. But in the daytime, they play outside. But to me, a tree, cutting down the tree is better to losing a life. Because it's going to be more than one life there. And I know my tree is getting old, and they already started getting down by themselves.
Can I make a suggestion real quick?
Yeah.
So we just got like a $70,000 grant, but I think most of the money is going to be spent on trees in the city. But like Wanda said, reach out to John, at least get it on his radar.
Okay.
Because that way, if we do have any leftover funds from it, then we could maybe possibly add that tree to it. Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry. About all those 2, I believe 3 more light posts, they deteriorating really bad. They got a lot of cable. You can see them leaning already to the side. I already spoke to John about that a long time ago. He told me they was going to get into it. No, that's light posts too. Light posts. The light post is coming down.
Can you talk to him on Monday, this week? Just
Yeah, because they, yeah, and then yeah, my light, you know, the light cable. When I call the company like Peco, when they tell me they come up to the house, oh no, you have to replace that, and that cost me almost $7,000 just to replace the little what you call them, the box for the meter. And I tell them I don't need the meter to be changed. I just need the cable to be replaced because one of these days they will come down because you can see the cable already, and the you know, the plastic is just don't have no plastic around. It's just metal cable. I believe he got mine. Yes. Yeah, he got my information. Thank you.
Okay. So what are y'all gonna do about the house? Are you gonna do it? Is it gonna continue to sit there or what? I mean, I know the house is gonna sit there, but what are you gonna do with it?
That's a very good question.
Because you're going back on what y'all had promised, I thought. I thought when y'all were offering to buy the house, it was to turn it into something for the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yep, that's correct.
question, answer, when? Are
Well,
you?
we can't tell you when because we have to get some funding first because right now we don't have any grants to do anything to that property. But before we start doing anything to the property, we need to hear from the residents like you're doing right now. So we've had one meeting where it was kind of supposed to be like a strategic plan and to hear from the residents to see how they wanted that building to look, like the design, what they wanted to see, what programs they wanted to see in that building. But somehow that meeting kind of got derailed, so we're probably going to have to hold another meeting to try to get the feedback from the residents like we're getting from you right now, because from what you're saying, you sound like you definitely want to see a community center there.
Yeah.
So we need to hear what kind of programs do you want? Do you want something for the seniors? Do you want computer classes? You want yoga classes? What kind of design do you want? Do you want a traditional design? Do you want it modern, industrial? So all those type of things, before we start spending money, we need to have a plan.
But I thought, maybe I heard wrong, that y'all have money, that you're lotting it out for this, for that.
We don't have money for that building. We got the firehouse for $1. So that building was basically free. And we got a $500,000 bond bill for that building in addition to other grant funding. The only reason why we haven't really started going after money for that house is because we literally just got that house legally. We had to go through a lot of red tape before we could even get the title. Now that we've gotten the title, now we can start going after grants, because you can't ask for a grant for a building you don't own or property you don't own.
Okay.
So we just literally finalized that, because another issue came up that we had no control over, dealing with the title again. It's a lot of issues with that property. But we finally believe that we have cleared everything and it is rightfully our property now. So now we can go after funding. So that's why we haven't done anything with the house.
So when you go after the funding, is it gonna be for something for the community, or you might change it and do something else?
I don't think we're gonna change it into anything else. I don't know.
But if you change it and do something else, then you're breaking the promise of why you said you wanted it. Right? Right?
Well, I'm only speaking for myself. I didn't vote for the house, so I'm sorry. I didn't vote for it, so I'm just speaking for myself. I'll let my fellow commissioners speak to that.
But the commission also changes every year. We just had the change with Julia. I mean, right before that, we had the change with Renee. And so, you know, it's good for all of us to sit up here and say, yes, we will, but if new commission comes on, it could change. And we have this thing, I mean, this is not a 2 week away, 1 year away, 2 years away. Even if we got all the grants today, I mean, this would look to be years out. There's just no way. We haven't even, we've done potential building designs, maybe, but I mean, there's nothing finalized. And it's gonna be a little bit of a project. As for me, like, I really wanna see the firehouse. We have grants. We're not really, you know, paying a ton of money on that. I want to see that project get done. We have a foot in the door on that one. But we have to take one thing at a time. We got to get one project done at a time, because we can't have all of these projects just kind of sitting in limbo. It's time to start actually getting them complete. So that's just my stance. But
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point as well. We do have a lot of projects going on right now. At least with the firehouse, we have the money for that one, so we can get started on that.
Didn't the house come up before the firehouse did?
Yes, it did. You're absolutely right. The house was there first, but again, it was a lot of legal work with that house. The firehouse, there was no legal work. All we had to do was sign a paper, give them $1, because the volunteer fire department in Brentwood, they basically donated the building back to us because they weren't doing anything with it. So that's why we were able to move faster on that house, because there wasn't no red tape. I'm sorry, it's not a house, on that building. That house next door, it was a lot of red tape with that house. It was a mess.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I didn't want to do it. And then I didn't think it was, well, I'm not going to say what I thought, but that's why we haven't moved on that property yet. It's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. But I do think that the commission has agreed to do something with that property, correct?
Let me say this. At the end of the day, you know, the people came forth, and regardless of whether you're on a commission or not, the commission made a commitment to the people of Cottage City. And that's why they voted that night in front of the people to get it. If the people didn't want it, they would have never voted for it. So regardless of whether you feel about it or not, they went on the sentiments of the people that were here to speak up in behalf of that. And for us to be, you know, well, I don't know, maybe we're going to do something with it, but we don't know. I mean, this is absolutely, you know, like she said, you're going back on a promise. Maybe not a promise that you made, but you know what, this is not, neither one of us make any decisions individually, including myself. We make it as a body, and the body had committed to the community to continue this project. So the fact that different commissioners come on, whether you agree with it or not, you know, if the commission in previous time has made a commitment to then they should see that out. And I think that's the point she's trying to make, is the promises were made, and you know, what is your intention to, you know, do you plan on continuing with your promise, or do you plan on not coming? I think that's the question she's asking specifically, not the fact that, I mean, how long it's going to take. I get that, you know, and the funding, and I get that. We all know that it's not a tomorrow project, but like everything else, it does take work that we need to be doing at some juncture between now and the time that project would potentially begin. So if we stopped all that work and then we'll never get to the beginning of the project. So.
And I think you're right. If we're going to do the project, we do need to start working on it. But we also need to hear what people want as far as how they want the project to look. I don't think we should make that decision by ourselves. I think the community should have some say on how they want it to look and what kind of services are coming out of that building, whatever it is. I'm just saying whatever it is because, like I said, I don't know what it's going to be. I know what you guys voted for, which I believe was a community center at that time, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I wasn't here for the vote, so I don't know. I can only go by what I was told. So,
But it would mean a lot to the community to have someplace to go, though. It would really mean a lot. Okay, thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night. Thank you for your comment, Ms. Katie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Bemis. I'm resident of Cottage City Towers. I've been here 9 years, since 2017. From what I've seen, this place is gorgeous. It's more better than what I've come from. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, so you know what that is. I'm crazy like that. But my question also was about that building. So what y'all had planned on doing with it? Because us as seniors, we would love to have it, you know, for us to go somewhere. Because a lot of us are in wheelchairs. You can't walk, you know. I'm just barely getting there. So it gives me something to do. I would love to do it. I would love to see it, something big come of it, put it that way. Something that's going to help everyone, not just myself, but everyone. Okay, that's all I have to say. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. Good night. Mr. Campos?
I'm sorry. The first time I came up, my nerves got the best of me also. But now that everybody's freely speaking, I just want to make sure that it was on the record. At least from me and my community, absolutely. We would love to see a community center. No matter if it has, for seniors, for kids, a safe spot for our neighborhood just to be able to call home, like that would be amazing, without a doubt. And if there's anything, the advisory groups or whatever the case is, if there's any help or more meetings that we have to set up and more people we have to get involved, people, like you said, it's a crazy time in the world. Things are expensive. People are tired. People don't want to make time to come out to these things, but people do talk about it and they do want it. So I think it's just getting the momentum going, and you'll really see what the community at least wants. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sadia Gomez. I live in just down the street in Parkwood Court. The reason I came tonight was because I literally skipped class to come here tonight, okay? My schedule is, you know, as everyone says, very busy. However, I was really concerned because I know how long it's taken to get the home, and you know, I know that if it's finally looking like the papers are good. What I was confused about was that it doesn't seem to be a solidified purpose for the zone, where I think the community, at least I've always understood, that's where we're buying it, that's what we're planning to do, the vision. You know, I'm over here like, ooh, you know, yoga center, Zumba, you know, I'm thinking a lot of things, even though I don't come to every meeting, like I do hear back from, you know, friends in the commission, and I was just really shocked that like a rally came in and kind of seemed like deviated the whole purpose of why the building is being purchased. Like, it needs to be like, I get it, you have your say, but it's like way too far down the line. People have waited way too long. It's an invaluable piece of property that this community will probably never get a chance to have right next to the town. I mean, just, there's so many different ideas, and I don't know if when people are thinking, I don't have children, but when I think of a community center, I think all age groups. So I don't know if when people are thinking community center is only gonna be for the kids, like, I don't think that. I think it is a great idea for every age group, because you have the ability to, even if you have computer classes, it's not just for the kids, it could be for the seniors to learn how to, you know, do their, whatever they wanna do. They could go in there and get a Pinterest account, you know, but just opening up their mind that it's not just for one age group, it could really benefit everyone. I know that there was thoughts about doing a walking area in the back, and then the land wasn't right. I mean, those are things that we really don't have an outlet for all age groups to come together and enjoy a space. You know, I've come to the salsa classes, they're outside, it's hot. You know, or it's cold. We could probably do salsa classes indoors. Not to say that this space is not okay, but it's also very dated. You know, people do rent it. I rented it. I had a great party here, but it took a lot to get it to look nice. It's not a very attractive place. So having that opportunity could also bring new ideas to the community. We can have more volunteerism. We can have city year. There's a lot of things that, yes, the funding is a long way down, but I just really hope that we get a purpose and we solidify what is that purpose, so that we have goals that we can go after grants that will serve those goals, versus allowing it to be out there in the limb like anyone could just sway it this way or this way. And I think we just need to Like, what is it gonna take, another community meeting to say, this is what we want? It's not up for grabs. Like, think community center, think your ideas that way, but it's not just like 3 people speaking for the whole community. It really is not. If I would have known that was gonna happen, trust me, I would have been here. I would have skipped my class, just like I did tonight, because I want to make sure that we know, like, every time I drive by there, I'm already seeing that building. I'm already seeing, how can I help? You know? And again, there is a lot of emails that come out about meetings in the community, and I will be the guilty one that once I see the logo, I guess I assume it's always a like a meeting versus like ideas, or you need help with the Cottage City Day, like, I'm for it. But once we sign up, like, maybe I just need like an email coming from like whoever is leading that little task, so that I'm sure that I don't miss coming to those things. Or maybe it could be like a text blast if we sign up for that. Like, hey, you signed up for the committee to help us on Volunteer Day. Are you still in? And then I don't know if we have those capabilities that we could do like a little text alert for those individuals, because it's a lot of emails. And I'm telling you, once I see that Cottage City logo, I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know if there's a way to do like a logo with like flowers for the garden, or a logo for like, you know, the Cottage City logo with like something else. So when I see it, I'm like, oh, this is about the community center. It's important, because it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. One positive, and I know I gotta go because I'm taking my time. I love your bilingual emails. They're, you know, I love that. You know, thank you for doing that, because I think it does let the community know what's going on. And yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to say. And my ideas for the center, I'll make sure that when that meeting comes up, I would hope that somebody reminds me. I don't want to miss it, because I do have a lot of ideas. I just didn't even know we were at the idea stage right now, because I thought we were still trying to attain. But yeah, I definitely would love to be a part of that. And I guess that is all I have. I will bother you about my leaning pole in front of our street that I still have no luck with Pepco. But yeah, that's only for me. Alrighty, thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your comments, great comments. Is the Zoom still up?
Elizabeth, is the Zoom? Oh, let me go find out. I believe it is.
What happened to the screen?
I don't know.
Because I want to know if there's any comments in the chat.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go find out what's going on.
So I think your comments were great too. I do think at some point we gotta say, this is what it is and this is what we're doing, because what happens is a few come and they're the loudest ones, and so they kind of take over the conversation because they're being heard. And the ones who want the community center, they didn't actually show up. So the other group was able to take over the meeting.
I see take over the meeting, but I didn't think that the location could be taken over. It's different, like people come to a meeting and.
Can't hear you.
I said, I totally hear what you're saying, because I've been witness to when people take over a meeting, but you still have an agenda. And I feel like, once again, the space has not been solidified with the purpose, and that needs to happen, because just because 3 people showed up doesn't mean that if the topic would have been like, oh, the location may not be a community center, there would have been a bigger crowd here, you know, and that's where I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't even know it was up for grabs, because 3, 5, 6 people came and just deviated the whole thing. So I guess the community wants to know, or how do we solidify that that is what it is? And even though it may take a back burner whenever it picks up, having the goal, like I said, is what's gonna get us those money. Because when you're coming to the state and saying, this is for kids, adults, seniors, that's all different pots that are gonna come in. So that's all I say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. I cannot tell if there's a comment in the chat. Rick, can you tell if there's a comment in the chat? Are there any comments in the chat? Or anyone have their hand raised?
No, there's no comments.
I'm sorry, who was that? Oh, that was Rick, okay. No comments,
No
okay.
comments.
Okay, are there any other comments, from the floor?
Bill, you have anything to say? You good?
And we were supposed to be out of here at 8:30. Well, not, it's 9:08. I don't know what happened to John. So, we're at the end of our agenda. We've heard our public comments. So, I think we do have to go into a closed session. And I don't have the form. Thank you. All right. Good night. So we're going to go in a closed session. But thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate all your thoughts and comments. Good night.
Are we in closed session?